All right. Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for joining the Royal We. This is episode number 27. Happy Tuesday night to you guys. I'm going to wait just a moment here for some people to jump on board. There is a slight delay in the beginning of this live stream. So I give just a couple minutes for people to jump on and sign on, and that way we can get rolling. I like to at least make sure that the moderators are here. All right, guys. So as you guys start to come on, I'm going to go ahead and say hi to a bunch of you. Hi, Pamela. How are you? Hi, John Broomer. Hi, Jamie. Hi, Carla. How are you guys? I hope you guys are doing great. Hi, Taylor. Welcome. Hey, Blue. There's our moderators. They're already in. Missy Joy. Boom. Howdy. Hi, Renia. Hi, Unique. Roxanne. How are you? Good evening. Good evening, Annette. Happy Tuesday night to you guys. Hey, Robert. Hi, guys. Hi, Frida B. Hi, Tanya. Hi, Julianne. Hey, Ray. What's going on? I see some new names, some new people who I haven't recognized at least. So maybe you're not new, but I haven't recognized you. It's my first time seeing you here. Hi, Mrs. E. Hey, Live Happy. Robert Thomas. Darlene. Rasha Saeed. Hello. How are you? And if I pronounce your name incorrectly, I apologize for that. Sometimes keeping up with the names, and some of your names are very creative. I got to give it to you. So if some of the names don't roll off my tongue quite right, you know what I mean? So if I mess up on some of the names, I apologize for that right off the bat. Robert Thomas. Bob. Hey, Bob. What's going on? Christine. Revived Lady. Saying hi to Blue. All right. It's 10:02. Hi, Susan. Hi, Wise. How are you guys? I hope you guys are doing really good. I hope you're having a really good Tuesday. I'm thankful that you guys are here on the Royal We Live. And for those of you who are joining for the first time on the Royal We Live, I'm going to go ahead and go through a couple of things here. First of all, the Royal We Live is all about support. And if you have not yet joined the Royal We, I encourage you to subscribe. Subscribing to this channel is going to offer you a lot of support in as far as narcissistic abuse and healing from narcissistic abuse. Now, once you subscribe to the channel, I encourage you also to hit the bell. There's a bell icon that you can hit for notifications, and that's going to make sure that you do not miss a live episode. We are live Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. However, sometimes it's easy to miss. Maybe you fall asleep because you are in the Eastern time zone and it gets late, but you don't want to miss it. So that notification will wake you up. Now, the third thing that's important for you to do is to connect. If you're coming out of narcissistic abuse, if you are in recovery right now, connecting is a huge part of it. So I encourage you to pick up the phone and make that call. Now, for those of you who are watching live on YouTube right now, you can contact me through the number that is scrolling at the bottom of the screen. We have our first telephone call, and I'm going to put that call from Ontario, Canada. I'm going to put that call on hold just so I can get through the intro. But it's important to make the phone call, one, because it's healing for you to be able to articulate into words the pain that you're going through, your questions and your comments and your experience with narcissistic abuse. But the second important thing is that it's good for other people. So everybody else who's watching shares in your experience, and they also get healing. So if your heart is to help others, then know that your phone call and your questions help other people. I'm going to introduce our moderators for this evening. Blue is our moderator. She's been around for a couple of months now, a few months, and she's also had no contact for a certain amount of time, which has been really good. But the most incredible thing about Blue is just her unique think tank ability. She is constantly coming up with great ideas to help further get this message and get this healing out there. And as a matter of fact, she has been working on a Facebook group, a support group that I believe is available, and you can join her on that in and around this show. And that's a fantastic thing to have. So thank you, Blue. Find out more about the Facebook support group for the Royal We. Blue will let you know when that's going on. And then also we have our moderator, Taylor Zabel. Taylor Zabel is also in the house tonight. I saw her there. And thank you, Taylor, for being here. She's also been with the Royal We for a couple of months now and is also going through her no contact as well. Both of these people have a huge heart to help, and so they will welcome you, and they will be very good to you, and I'm very thankful that they are both here. For Truth and Justice, she may pop in You may see her every now and then, but she's also a moderator. And before we get into the phone call, guys, I do want to let you know that this is an 18 and up program. Viewer discretion is advised because of the nature of what we talk about. We are talking about narcissistic abuse. We may be talking about issues involving domestic violence and possibly some sexually explicit material, guys. So, viewer discretion is advised, guys. And now, with that, I encourage you guys to check out the Royal We course. If you have not checked out the Royal We course, you can find out more about it by clicking the link in the description box below this video. There is a course link underneath where it says the Royal We number 27. You can find out all about the Royal We course there. A lot of what I talk about comes from the understanding that I poured into that course, which will really dive in deep into understanding narcissistic abuse. All right, guys, well, let's get into our first phone call from Ontario, Canada. You're live on the Royal We. Thank you for calling.
Hello, good evening, everyone. Good evening, Kevin.
Good evening.
And I'm all honey cutie. Sometimes you see me on here, and I'm always saying shout outs to you and stuff like that. I've been listening to you for quite some time.
Thank you.
And I had a pretty rough week last week. I've been no contact since last year, October of last year, and I'm very happy about that. And but what I've noticed is that I go through periods of depression.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not with the person. It's the fact that I've wasted so much time with the person.
Right.
And I'm just trying to sort of process the time that I've wasted, and also, why am I feeling so depressed?
Right.
And just. I feel down. I feel depressed even now, actually. But
I understand.
I feel like right now, like I don't have, like I was working when I first met this person.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm no longer working. I devoted my time to the family, and then
was this a marriage? Was this a marriage that you were involved in?
Yes.
How,
I was married to the person for 16 years.
That's a long time.
And I was abused from 16 years. I didn't realize I was being abused, though.
Right.
And
well, let's talk about the depression real quick. The depression is very real.
Yeah.
Right. And I've made a video on depression, and it's possible that Blue can probably pull up that link. It's called Depression After Narcissistic Abuse. It wasn't done that long ago. I did a series where I talked about depression. I also talked about CPTSD, both after narcissistic abuse, and both those videos were back to back, and they're both heavily related in a lot of ways. And some of the things that I challenged, and I don't know if you've had the opportunity to watch that video on depression after narcissistic abuse, but one of the things I talk about in there is understanding that you're going through this period where you are questioning what your motivation in life was all about. And it's probable that your motivation, as was my motivation and many people here, we were motivated by how we were received by other people. And so this is quite normal. Most people get motivated by how others are treating them, how others are responding to them, right? And this is a good thing in a way. We need to learn how to become motivated by finding our drive and our passion regardless of what other people think. That's important too. But one of the things that happens is when we're in these abusive relationships is we're pouring out ourselves. We believe we're pouring everything that we have. And since we rely on that response from others to let us know we're doing good, narcissists really mess you up. And the reason is because they, in a way, tell you that you're good enough isn't good enough. That you're good enough.
Right.
That your best effort isn't good enough. Does that make sense? So when you're giving your all to the relationship, they're telling you it's not good enough. This makes you question everything. It makes you question all of your motivation. It gets you to this place where you just can't even get up out of bed because you feel like, well, if I gave my all and it wasn't good enough, then what do I have? What can I do? I have nothing.
Right.
I can do nothing. But that's the wrong way to look at it. The reality is that it's not that you weren't good enough. It's that you were with a person who nothing will ever be good enough. because they're
Right.
narcissists, because they're consuming eternal black holes, and all they do is take and take and take because this is how they survive. And that's not your fault. It's not your fault.
Right.
And so as you heal from this, you're going to learn how to you find your own gifts, your own motivations, and it's not going to be based on how others treat you and how others respond to you. It's going to be your motivation, it's going to be your internal from the inside. You're going to be living from the inside out. You're going to find the things that you love,
Right.
and there's going to be people that are going to resonate with the real you. And you're not going to keep doing what you're doing because of them. However, they're going to receive you because it resonates with them. I hope this makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. And the depression part of it, I realize is just a phase. I realize that
It
part of
is.
it.
It is.
I could be going somewhere, and then something hit me, and then I'm going into, I'm triggered by all these different things. And what's alarming for me sometimes too, is that sometimes I'm thinking about all the bad things he did to me,
Right.
all the terrible things he said to me.
Right.
I get angry, and sometimes my daughter would see me and she'd say, "Mommy, how come you're trembling right now? How come I look like I'm actually biting my tongue to the point where sometimes it's bleeding and I don't even realize it. I don't realize I'm doing it, and it scares me because
Right.
I am so angry sometimes that if I seen him, I
Okay.
don't know what I would do."
So two videos. Another. You are exactly in the place where I've been. So I'm so glad that
Yeah,
you are talking to me because I've been right where you are. And I'm going to ask Blue or another moderator to pull up another video for you, flashbacks,
yeah,
which is a more recent video. I don't know if you've seen my video on flashbacks, but I talk exactly about the two kinds that you are experiencing. Okay, there's flashbacks of the
right,
name calling, but there's also violent fantasies. The violent fantasies
right,
are flashbacks, but they have you trembling, biting your tongue, and the reason is because inside you're trying to you're saying all the things that you wish you could have and would have said. You're fighting internally. It's called
right.
violent fantasies. You may even find yourself yelling when nobody is when you think nobody's
Yes,
looking. You may yell.
I look around.
You
Yeah,
look
I look
around.
around and nobody's listening.
You may drive and start yelling in your car, and
Right.
and then hope to God when you look over and see that car next to you that they did not see you just screaming at the top of your lungs, right?
Yeah,
And but so know that this is a part of CPTSD, okay? And so
it is. It is. Eh?
these are symptoms of complex post-traumatic stress disorder. Your body is working these things out. You're going to have to give yourself time. Okay, there's a couple suggestions. One, take it easy on the screaming, catch yourself, and that's more of a physical thing because you don't want to hurt your throat too much. Okay, um,
Right.
but I do want to let you know that you're not alone. I've had to walk away from work, from jobs because I could not function and perform my jobs because of the conversations I was having in my head.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And I would pace alone in the backyard, and I would be neglecting my family and those who love me. I was so
Right.
lost. So like you and like your
Right.
daughter says, "Mom, what is wrong with you? You are in outer
Exactly.
space right now." I get that. Okay. So I encourage you to watch the entire video on flashbacks, and the also the violent fantasies. It's one video. Also, CPTSD is another video, and the one on depression as well.
Right.
But you're in the right place. You're healing. Your body has to work these out. Give it time to work these things out. Be honest with yourself. If you have to take some time off of work, take some time off of work. I encourage you to do these things
Yeah.
without any kind of medication. It's something that you can beat. It's something that your body is processing. It's trying to figure out what to do with this anger. It's got to get it out somehow. Okay. It's not something that I would suggest getting medication for or anything like that. I don't
No,
believe it's
I
needed.
yeah,
Okay.
don't take medication at all. I don't take that medication for things like that.
Good.
I don't
Good.
do it at all.
Good. Because some people will go straight
Well,
to that. And some people will listen to
no.
the advice of others saying, well, go see a doctor. Maybe you're depressed. Maybe you need medication. And I'm not necessarily
Yeah.
for that. I believe in organically just allowing your body to process this anger, to get through this, talk to people. This is why I made the community is for you. And so you're in the right
Well, I
place. you
appreciate it.
you really are. And I know that there's people here who are also they know what you're going through. and they're here for you too. All right. Um,
Yeah, I'm doing everything naturally. I'm doing my medication naturally. I'm not medicating myself. I'm just eating healthy, trying to eat healthy, get outside as much as I can. If I get nerve to go outside, sometimes I just feel like locking up myself.
right.
And also, I listened to a video you had about peace, finding peace after narcissistic abuse,
Right.
and I actually took notes. I'm always taking notes all the time, and I
Yeah.
reverse it back and I play it over again, and I think about what you're trying to say, and I felt really good listening to the one about peace today. I was really happy
Good.
about that one. It
Good.
was great,
Good.
and it's applicable. I like how you apply it. Right? It's not like you're just giving instructions and then say, okay, go out there and do what you have to do, kind of thing. You try to give examples and stuff like that, and I appreciate it. But I've been really in a funk, and I can't get out of it. And it's like,
You will. You will.
yeah,
It's still fresh, hon.
okay,
You're not that long after the relationship. I'm going to answer a
right,
question for you, even though you didn't ask it yet, and that's how long does it take?
yes,
Everybody wants to know. How long is it going to
yeah,
take? How long am I going to be in my head? How long am I going to be fighting and yelling at nobody? The answer is this: it does resolve itself in ways, but everybody's different. It takes different amount of time for everybody. Okay, I'm going to be honest
mhm,
with you. I still have some moments where I sense something coming back, somewhat of a flashback, and questions arise. And so
right,
I've got to stop that, and I'm more conscious of it. And so in time you do it. And I tell people to grow into the pain. I've also put videos out there where I've talked about what your body is doing, this transformation, this pain that you're experiencing is it's changing you, it's reshaping you, it's getting you
right,
ready. It's really preparing you and getting you ready for the reality of the world that we live in, because none of us are.
right,
None of us are ready
mhm,
and really prepared for really what's going on in the world today. We're not.
yes,
We're seeing all this stuff going around us, our husbands, our wives, our children, our siblings. Things are getting crazy, and we're not
yeah,
prepared for it. And so this is an awakening experience, and your body is transforming, your mind is transforming, and so the trauma is reshaping how you're going to do things. So you're going to have to grow into the pain. You're not going to go back to the person you once
okay,
were. You're not going to be the person you
right,
once were. Okay, and because the person
yeah,
you
I know
once
that,
were is what led into the pain that you're in now, right? So you're going to be better
exactly,
and stronger, but just know that it's okay to be hurt. It's okay to have righteous indignation, that anger,
right,
but
yeah,
sin not in your anger. And I don't feel in your voice that that's what you're trying to do. You're just trying to process it,
no.
just like I was, and just like a lot of people are here trying to process that anger. And so,
Well, I'm not sinning. I don't think I'm sinning, but I tell you, the way I feel sometimes, it would give me a lot of pleasure. Just if I see that person, what I would do to them.
oh
I,
sure,
I
yeah,
get pleasure out of it,
right, in your
right? I
mind.
get pleasure.
Not pleasure
Yeah,
out of, if it's like me, it's not pleasure out of actually literally doing it, but it's something that's in your mind, right? That's the violent
right.
fantasy. There's pleasure in this violent fantasy. Like I said, allow these things to work themselves out, and just
Okay.
and time, let that go, and it will
Okay.
go. But watch those videos that I
Yeah,
recommended for you.
I
Also,
will.
another thing, just because you are experiencing this level of CPTSD, your diet is going to be a really big one. So I would definitely cut out a lot of the junk foods, things like that. Exercise. I would encourage you to watch videos by Dr. Berg and some others who are into
Dr. Berg.
Dr. Berg.
Dr. Berg.
Uh-huh. He's
He's
fantastic as far as helping people understand adrenal fatigue, which is adrenal fatigue
right.
is a result of the flashback. So the more you're having these flashbacks, the more you're going to experience adrenal fatigue. It depletes you. When you have these episodes, you're depleting yourself of vitamins and minerals because your body's just burning it up internally. And so it's good to,
Yeah, because I gained about 70 pounds. I gained about
right.
70 pounds
Yeah.
since this happened. So
Right.
yeah.
All
And I
right.
just want to thank the people that are putting stuff on the chat thing. I'm reading it. It's coming up so fast that I'm going to look at it. I'm going to listen to what we're talking about today later on, and then I'll
Mhm.
be able to take some notes and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
Because I'm crying, and I'm hearing stuff that it gets me really emotional, and I'm
Right.
crying. I can't even read it. to be honest with you. So I know people are putting stuff up there for me, and I'm going to look at it. I
Good.
appreciate all the help I'm getting from the group as well. Thank you.
On. Well, thank you for calling. I appreciate it.
Okay, you take care.
All righty. Good night.
Bye-bye.
We talked about a lot in that phone call, and I missed some other phone calls. The phone line is open. I'm going to go ahead and put the phone number back up, so you guys are welcome to call. I know that there are people who would love to get in. I'll take this telephone call from New York, and you're live on the Royal We.
Hi, thanks, Kevin. This is Laura. I called yesterday. I'm just following up. I don't want to take up everyone's airtime, but I was the first caller, and I was just having a hard time. I explained, I think, if you remember, with going back after no contact, and I was being ghosted. Now I'm being hoovered again, and it's so physically draining and exhausting. It's like, how do I mean, I'm going through the day thinking, all right, I shut my phone off. I'm like, I can't even deal with this, because I had this WhatsApp thing, and it's not even, I blocked him, but because of the circumstances at work, I need to have it for my boss. And then later on at night, I'm like, all right, let him sweat it out. And I'm thinking, wait, this is not a punishment, though. This is not a punishment. This is about me taking my power back.
Right.
And it's just physically exhausting. It's like, how do you even have the energy to the strength to not even deal with him? It's just constantly.
Well, it's
message after message.
Yeah, it's not the strength to not deal with them. It's the strength because you are still dealing with them, right? This is what's taking your strength. So, and this is why it's important to exercise no contact. This is why it's important to know that no contact is for you. It's not for punishment. It's not you're holding out. It's not just silent treatment. It's none of that stuff. It is you saying, I'm done. I'm done with this. And then when you're really done, it's going to be hard. It's not easy because you do have to block him. You do have to see that number come up. You have to battle your own feelings of guilt, of am I doing the right thing? Okay? And so you have to know that you know why you're doing what you're doing. You have to know that the relationship is not how you see your future, and you have to react to that. You have to respond to that. Right? If your body, mind, and spirit's telling you this is not a good, healthy relationship for you, this is not what's your future is going to look like, then you've got to respond to that.
I hear what you're saying, and I completely agree, and I'm on the same page, and I have not reached out or called back or said anything. I just, it's just a bombardment of message after message. I just have to shut my phone off because
Right.
It's like I can't even see this number. It's like I don't. I mean, I understand. It's just the hoovering is so, the messages and trying to luring me and this and that, and it's just like,
right.
It's physically draining.
It is. But it's what you have to do, and there's really, listen, there's no rules and there's no laws that govern what you can and can't do. All right. So, I mean, I know that there's going to be a lot of people, I can't do this, I can't do that. I want to share something with all of you right now. For those of you who think, I can't go this far and I can't go that far. Let me explain to you a little bit about my own personal story. I changed my telephone number 3 times. I got up and I moved myself and my family with little to no money from California, 5 states away. And now, granted, it all wasn't, and we did it, very, and it wasn't all just because of narcissistic abuse. It was a complete and total purging. Relationships were failing. Relationship dynamics were falling apart when narcissistic abuse kicked in. Finances were failing. A lot of stuff was failing. It was like a complete purging. And so, but all of that was together. And so I'm telling you this so that listen, if you have to get a new phone, get a new phone. If you have to start over from scratch, you start over from scratch. What is it worth to you to have your freedom? That's the question, right? And a lot of people might say, and there might even be people in the community that would say, I don't run, I'm a fighter. Okay, fine. Then stay there and fight if that's the way you want to go about it. But for me, the fight meant get up and go to where you're going to be prosperous, where you're actually going to flourish. that's the decision I made, and it proved in my life to be the best decision I could make. So it's really case by case. But I'm telling you this just so that listen, you do not have to sit there and exhaust yourself blocking his attempts to contact you when you could just get a new phone number, right?
Mhm.
And you could do it slowly. Hang on to the old phone, get a new phone. Start to give your work and your friends and other people your new phone number and slowly distance yourself from that phone number. Once you realize that the only person contacting that phone number is that dude. And then at some
Right.
time just chuck the phone. Okay? I mean, so there's options. That's my point to you, is that there's
Right.
options.
That's an idea.
It depends on how far you want to go. How far do you want to go for your freedom? How much are you willing to fight for your freedom? That's really all I got for you on that.
Oh yeah, there's absolutely no way. And the other thing is, I am planning on leaving where I'm living. It's just my daughter has to graduate from high school, and it's been a plan of mine because it's the only way I know to get away. And plus, I have family elsewhere.
There you go.
So I
Okay.
think that the phone option, getting a new number, is probably something I'm going to have to look into very soon.
Right on. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you very much.
I'm glad you called back. Thank you for calling back.
All right. Take care.
Good
Bye.
night. We've got time for another phone call, maybe one or two. So I'll go ahead and open up the phone lines. The telephone number is scrolling at the bottom of the screen. I did see a couple of people calling, and we'll go ahead and take a telephone call from Virginia. Good evening. You're on live on the Royal We.
Hello, everybody. I hope everybody's well. I've been watching your shows a lot, and they've been really informative and helpful.
Thank you.
I just wanted to do a praise report or a success story that it's 8 days from now. It will be a month from no contact with this person, this narcissist person.
Congratulations
the Buddhist
on that.
guy. Yes, a few episodes back, I talked about a Buddhist guy that I had seen for 6 months, and
Oh, okay.
I wanted
Yeah.
to share with it's me.
Hi.
I
Okay.
just appreciate the community and the support that offers us a voice and also the opportunity to be heard. It's just refreshing
Good.
because no one understands what you go through until they've gone through it themselves.
Right.
So, nonetheless, it'll be a month next Wednesday, and I wanted to encourage the callers that there is hope, but it starts with loving yourself enough to walk away, if you can, from anything that just disrupts your peace of mind, the shalom you mentioned on your previous video.
Mm-hmm.
Loving yourself enough to just eliminate or discard the things in your life that don't add value to you.
That's right.
Because the power, this is what I'm learning, that the power has always been residing in you to walk away. You don't have to take the abuse. But
That's
these people have such it's so strange. We give them this power, like we're stuck in this vortex or rut, and we feel helpless, and we want to be loved so badly that we'll take anything for these crumbs of affection. But you know what? It can only last so long, and then reality sets in. Like, how long can I go through this?
You bring up an interesting point.
Miserable.
You bring up an interesting point, right? And I wanted to just rewind on that. It's an interesting point. And that you said that you so badly want the love and affection. Now, we know that the love and affection that's offered with narcissists is not real love and affection. Not from the not in the least bit, right? What they do is they use you. They use your body for their own selfish pleasure, and in a way twist that into leading you to somehow believe that it's love and affection when really it's being used.
It's
Right?
twisted.
It's very twisted, and you fall into it. And then also, and so it's important that people realize that, love and affection, doing what I've been doing, talking to people, I've had an opportunity to experience a different type of love and affection. And I really know the difference because I've been able to experience and fall in love with people just by talking like this right now. And I have no idea what these
Mm,
people even look like, okay, or anything. So it's not based on that. There's nothing, it's that's just where it is. It's just that connection, that spirit to spirit, talking, communicating. It's a different type of love. And so I'm able to pull back now and look at this and be able to tell you in all truth what you fell into had nothing to do with love. It was a negotiated exchange. You give me your body and I'll do nice
mm,
things for you too, right? And then at some point you realize, wow, there's nothing here, nothing spiritual, nothing, you know, what am I doing? And you're doing just that. You're just giving your body. You're being used. And in a way, you're using one another, right? You're experiencing that type of affection, that physical affection, which is important, but you're experiencing it in the wrong way, right? And so, but it's important that that you brought that up. I'm glad you did. And also with that, the whole peace and shalom and trying to fight in that storm, you can't. You'll never be able to go to a wolf and say, "Okay, wolf, it's time for you to be a sheep." It's not going to happen, right? Wolves eat sheep,
mhm,
and they always will,
mhm,
right? And so that's
mhm,
why, you cannot fight in these relationships to get them to be something different. If you go out and date a, a woman crazed alcoholic, you've got yourself a woman crazed alcoholic. That's it, right? You're not gonna make them magically turn into something else. It just doesn't work like that. And so it's good at some point to distance yourself and say, wow, that's not at all what I need in my life. That's going to destroy me. And it will destroy
it's
you, right?
true. That's true. When I realized more I was in the relationship, the miserable I became and the joy was just gone. And finally, I woke up and said, I have so much love to give. Why am I giving it to someone who's giving me scraps? Like just
Right.
crumbs from the table. And then I love myself enough to say, you know what, girl, don't settle for this crap.
No, don't.
I'm just being blunt.
Yeah.
I don't settle in my relationships, but in this case, it was an attraction. It was the flush. He's very smart. I love intelligence in a man. So he came as an attractive package,
Hmm.
but you know what? It's not worth compromising
Not at
who
all.
you are to get these second scraps of fake love
Right.
because you end up being miserable.
That's it.
For what? For
Yeah.
for thinking that you cannot love again?
Hmm.
That's we're like stuck in this bubble thinking this is the best love. And
Yeah,
so
it's not. Yeah, you're absolutely
mhm,
right. And you think, and because and this is what's very dangerous about these relationships is because, like you said, you feel like, what, am I not going to find love again? What you're really saying is, does this mean that no man will appreciate me? If this guy that I gave my body to, that I gave my all to, he rejected it. He didn't appreciate
mhm,
it. Is this how all men are going to be? Because I gave my all. It really dings your self esteem. Not self esteem. I don't like that word, but it dings your confidence as a woman and what you
mhm.
have to offer, and it robs you and it robs the right man that God had in store for you. Do you follow that?
Amen. Preach it.
I
I
mean,
do.
that's
I
that's
do.
that's
Which
the truth because now you're gonna
it
feel
is.
you're gonna go into a relationship that is geared for marriage, and there may be a part of you that's gonna be holding back. Are you going to not appreciate my body as well? Because when I give my body, it takes a lot of me. Because as a woman, it does. It takes your everything. Your soul is attached.
What I learned.
Right, and so when you
I,
do that and it's rejected because you fell into this facade of this fake guy who wanted nothing but to get your pants down. That's all he wanted from you, right? And then he didn't really care about you after that. And so it's hard to not associate that. So it's going to take a lot of work on your part, a lot of prayer, a lot of healing to flush that out, to get that out, and to realize that that does not represent how the man that God has for you in your life. That was a skewed path that you
It was a
accidentally
counterfeit
embarked on
love.
counterfeit love, right?
That's right. And so what helped me was, there were a lot of painful nights, just tears on the floor, prostrate on the ground, just crying, crying. It was like the worst heartbreak. And
Right.
but it was an illusion. It wasn't real. I loved, but that person didn't. And
Right.
so I just got right with God, and you know, I shared my story a few of the videos ago, but got right with God, repented, renounced, confessed everything, and gave him the pieces of my broken heart and asked him to restore it.
Sure.
And
And
it's been a journey.
ask God,
And so
ask God also in your prayer life, reset and get prayer over this, reset what it is that you are falling in love with, what you're falling for. You said that you truly loved, but what did you really love? So we go to this idea where you said, well, I really loved him because he was really smart, you know. And I've said this before.
he made me feel good.
Yeah, there you
We
go.
had some good times. He was humorous,
He was a
but
good time. Yeah,
it was the good times. But is that love, or is it just lust?
there you
Is it
go.
attraction?
That's
Because
what you
love
have to.
is a sacrifice.
That's what you have to
Love
figure out.
considers.
So you have to be able to
Mm-hmm.
understand from your side when you are what it is you're falling in love with. Is it really love? Is it just lust? Is it just an infatuation? Because lust and infatuation you can have for somebody without knowing anything about them. And like I said, that could be the wolf, tear you to pieces, right?
It was the wolf.
Right.
He
And
didn't ask any questions about me in the 6 months we were
sure.
together. We met every Saturday, but I would ask questions about him. But long story short, what I'm learning is love yourself first.
There
Love
you go.
value yourself.
Bingo. Bingo. If you love
Because
yourself, if you love
yes,
yourself and you know what you're worth and you have your values, then you will be able to look past the cuteness, the slick words, and the wolf-like characteristics. Listen, wolves can look pretty intimidatingly beautiful from certain angles, right?
mhm,
Until they're attacking you. So, but by knowing your value, you'll see past all that stuff into what it is you really need in life to help you be complete, to partner with you. But that only comes when you really, really, really love yourself, love your value, know your worth, right?
you said it. You hit it on the nail. No pun intended. And so I love myself. And so right
Good.
now, this period of me taking a sabbatical from men is just working on me, like
Good.
really knowing myself, knowing the Lord, and just the experience has made me cautious when dealing with not just men but also women, because women can be narcissists, and
Oh
just
yeah.
cautious of
Yeah.
how I open up to people, because you speak of empaths being so vulnerable,
Hmm.
and these are like we're like the targets for these wolves here that just they love us, you know,
Well,
because they lack love.
it's
They
not it's not that, it's an interesting thing. Everybody's a target, right? Empaths
true.
empaths happen to be the ones that are slower to recognize the danger. That's the only reason we get involved with these.
Yeah.
That's why we get involved with these people. At some point we got to stop walking around, just they're they target just empath. No, they don't. Narcissists target everybody, and there's more than people realize. It's I'm going to bring up a scripture for you because you're a Bible person. For those of you who are Bible people out there, you'll get a kick
Christian.
out of this. Christians, if you look at the Bible for your understanding, there's a scripture in there where Jesus is talking about the farmer who went out and sowed some seed into his farm to grow wheat, and then his workers of the farm, or late at night, an enemy of the farmer crept in and sowed weeds amongst the wheat. Okay, and in the morning and in time they started growing together. You had the wheat,
Hmm.
the good wheat, and the weeds. And the workers ran to the farmer and said, "Hey, there's late at night an enemy came and sowed weeds. Do you want us to pull the weeds out?" And the response that Jesus gave was, "No, let them grow together. And then at the time of the harvest, we'll separate them. And all the weeds will roll up and burn, and we'll keep the wheat." But
Oh,
the reason I'm bringing this up to you is because what we're
goodness.
seeing is it's never been truer today as we live amongst there's wheat and there's weeds. There's good and there's bad. And what I take it also is that for every amount of good, for every amount of wheat there is, there's also weeds. So what am I saying? If we're looking at this parable tells me that for every one person that's good out there, there may be one that has bad intentions. For every piece of wheat, there may be a weed. And this is kind of how I view this. And so it's not to be paranoid, it's just to understand that we are in this world. The reality of the world we live in is that we are walking alongside people that may have bad intentions at any given moment. Okay? And so this is why it's important for us to be able to know this and understand this and recognize this, that we're not targeted, but they're there. And so with the empath abilities of being kind of slow to judge, of saying, well, we want to help, we want to fix, sure, come on in, I'll take care of you, I'll make it better, right? We run the risk of getting tangled up with a weed, just that easy, when we should, as a wheat, kind of, make sure we're staying somewhat of a distance away, right?
That's a good point you brought up. It just reminds me separating the wheat from the tares, or some people could say yin and yang. For every good, there's evil. It's a balance in life.
There it is.
So
yeah.
you have to look
Right.
at yourself and say, which side do you fall in the spectrum, good or evil? It's a balance that separates the wheat from the tares, the goat from the sheep.
And how are you going to navigate?
Saying.
How are you going to navigate your life through it? That's the point, right? And so it's not like
I turn to the Bible.
Right, there you go. There you go. And when you look to the Bible has a lot of harsh things to say about this. So you look at 2 Timothy, and 2 Timothy gives plain and simple instruction. People who do this are haughty, arrogant, into money. All these, it gives you a list. It gives you the rundown.
Yeah.
And it says have nothing to do with these people. Nothing, right? But that's not what most Christians do. We're out dating these people, right? Most Christians are out dating. Worse yet, they're out having sex with these people. Not at all what it's, and that's what's going on. This is why there's so much pain. This is why narcissistic abuse, again, and I summarize it like this: narcissistic abuse is being with people you have no business being with, doing things you have no business doing, going places you have no business going. You get these things under control, and you'll resolve yourself from experiencing narcissistic abuse. You will, instead of being the sheep that's injured and laying down that the wolf can get, you're going to be running with the pack that the wolves can't catch.
That's right.
Right? Most predatorial animals can easily be beaten off by healthy, wise understandings. I love watching National Geographic videos where the lion prowls and it comes up and it's got the announcer, the narrator saying, "Oh, the lion's getting close to that bull or that whatever," and then all of a sudden that big bull with the horns turns around and it's like, "Not today, dude," and charges that lion. The lions
not today, sucker.
Not today. The lions take off running. In fact, I saw one. I know we're way off base here, but I think this will help some people. There was one where a lizard with a long tail. There was a cheetah or something that was coming up on this big lizard and said, "Ooh, that looks like a good lunch." And the lizard said, "Not today." Whack! Slapped the cheetah upside of its face with its tail, like a whip. Crack! Right in the nose. That cheetah was gone. Whoa, that's not worth it. That's not worth it. That thing just smacked the heck out of me. And so the point is that when it comes to narcissistic abuse and predators, because they are predatorial people, they're predators after people who will give them what they want. They weasel their way into people's lives to get what they want, whether it's sex, money, whatever. And so just by being that strong, knowing your value and saying, not today, Satan, whack, man, and mentally have that tail, bop, get out of here. They're not going to mess with you. So it's not that they target empaths. It's that the empaths have run the risk of just laying dormant, of saying, ooh, of flinching. Ooh, that looks interesting. That looks kind of hot. I want to get to know.
Because it could be our nature.
Yeah.
We're just so giving and loving.
Exactly.
We want to love everybody, and we're vulnerable.
Right.
I know I am. I'm a giver, and I just have such a compassion for people, but
Yep.
tell you, your videos have helped, and there's so much good resources out there.
Yeah.
But the best way to prevent it is just know yourself, set some boundaries, love yourself, and if it doesn't add to your life, bye, Felicia. Let that thing go. If it doesn't add
Bye.
to your life,
Bye, Felicia.
I know. Yeah,
Haven't heard
exactly.
that one
But
in a
if it
while.
enhances you, yeah, if it enhances you and draws you
Right.
to the people who are into the Bible, draws you close to the Lord, keep
Yeah.
it. And like you said, your peace, you'll know because some people, when you'll just know also with the energy, the vibes from people,
Right.
you'll feel it. If this is, it's like an instinctual thing. You'll know if something's right or off.
Yeah.
That's your warning to run, force, run, get out of Dodge, leave that thing because that's not healthy for you. And so, I just want to leave the audience with this: that there is help, and I'm one of the many success stories that I walked away from mine. It'll be a month from Wednesday, and the hardest parts were like the first few weeks because you miss it. It's like an addiction. You miss the affection, the good times, etc. But you know how you survive one day at a time. Cry if you have to, eat chocolate, do what you got to do, but don't return. Don't return to that because then it starts the cycle of abuse again. Love yourself enough to walk away from anything that doesn't treat you like the precious jewel that you are. This is to the audience out there. You guys are worthy and valuable of love. And
Beautifully said.
you have the power within you to walk away from it. They don't. They will be destructed when you leave. They get their power from you and your reactions, and it's just amazing. It took me a long time, especially with my mom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautifully
So the power is
said.
within you.
Beautifully said.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so
Thank you for
much.
all you do.
Blessings, girl.
Bye.
And thank you for calling back and for sharing that. I enjoyed the conversation. I hope people got a lot out of that. So we'll talk again. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you. Bye.
Bye. All right, guys. With that, we're going to go ahead and wrap up the show. We're over time a little bit, but I love these conversations. That was a fantastic phone call, and I hope that there was a lot of stuff that we talked about in that phone call that you guys were able to walk away with some ideas and some concepts that you can apply to your life and to your situation and to understanding narcissistic abuse in general. And so that we don't fall into another bad situation with abusive narcissists. Know and understand that they are out there, that we are in this world. As long as we are in this world, right, we are going to come across these things. One of the realities of the world that we don't like to admit, that churches don't even talk about, is that the earth is not a good place as far as as far as that goes. We see, even if you look in the ancient theology of the Hebrew people, they had it laid out for us in the beginning in Genesis when Cain killed his brother Abel. And so we see this idea of we see the reality of what sin has actually done, of what this evil presence actually is, where people can stop caring or don't care about other people. This is the world we live in. This is the reality of the world we live in. We're seeing more of it today than ever before, and it's progressing, just like abuse is progressive. And so a lot of this pain is preparing you mentally, emotionally for this progression, to be able to deal, to be able to understand that you can't just go and date and have fun and do whatever you want to do with whoever you want to do it with, right? Those hippie days of the 70s are long gone, guys, and very scary. It actually wasn't good back then. It's definitely not good now. But I want to thank you guys for being here, for watching and being a part of the Royal We Live, guys. Thank you so much. And some of the things I just talked about the reality of the world that we live in, I get deeper into in the course. So I encourage you to check out the Royal We course. You can find a link to it in the description box below this video. So simply drop down the description box. It says the Royal We course link. Click on that. And I encourage you to take that course. We'll have some one-on-one time to work through some of your issues that you're dealing with. And with that, guys, I'm going to sign off. I believe that there is a Facebook group that Blue is heading up right now that you might be able to go to if you still need some further support. And I want to thank you guys for being here. So have a great night, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow night, 10 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time, right here on the Royal We Live. Thank you, guys.